Fucking hell.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And once again, we are joined by Sean Hibbler. Thanks for coming on the podcast again, mate. You didn't hate us enough the first time, as many people have done in the past, and you're back. So thank you.
Thanks for having me back, guys. And hello to your wonderful audience as well.
They're not that wonderful, though. They're most of them are retarded, but you know they're all right.
So are we, though. You know, it takes one to know one. Speaking of reptilians not taking days off, though, Sean, I'm convinced you must be a fucking reptilian because you've not been taking any days off.
Oh, mate. I was like, I've never heard this before. Let me hear this. Jesus. Oh, yeah, no, I don't take days off.
How much fucking research? Are you just researching 24/7?
That's all I do. I care too much about humanity and the world that I'm sick of our neighbors being mentally challenged and believing mainstream narratives and, you know, our education system and the government and the media. It's getting old, and I'm trying to find new ways to break down these rabbit holes for the general audience. I mean, I make films for them. I don't like we all know that they spray us with chemtrails, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make a film to impress you guys or people that know. What does that do? How does that help? It's too advanced at that point where it's like the normal everyday person is going to be lost. Like, what is going on with this advanced information? I go on a basic level where I go, I need to make a film that anyone could go, hey, Aunt Cheryl, sit the fuck down and watch this right now. I'm sick of your shit. I'm sick of your shit that they're contrails. Sit down and watch this. Or just someone in the family that's like, oh, it's, you know, it's my turn this week to rent a film. It's like, this is what we're going to watch. And when you have military whistleblowers, biologist whistleblowers, doctors, and you got people sitting there talking about their life experience and knowing what they're doing to our skies, and state representatives that are banning geoengineering in their state and got it passed, people that know what's going on, people that have receipts. Well, the everyday neighbor can actually learn something and go, wait a minute, there's something going on here. Because it's not just a TikTok video or a silly YouTube conspiracy thing. This is a legitimate film where people risk their lives to sit down with me to get their word out. And I think the everyday neighbor that we all have can respect a film like this, opposed to just a TikTok or YouTube video where there's no value to them. There's no interest in learning. They just think it's all cuckoo conspiracy until they realize their brain is filled with metal, just like ours. And we need to stop this collectively. And the more humanity wakes up, the more collective consciousness changes everything, the quicker we have blue skies again. So I just go from the perspective of what's the next topic? What else can I do? I try to hit every topic possible. There's so many more to make films on. I always said this, I'll have a career till I'm 100 years old, and I won't stop because there's that many topics to cover. Because our neighbors are under hypnosis of the mainstream media, the government, and just politics and education. Technically, they're just under hypnosis. And my job and why God put me here during this time period was to do what I'm doing. So I'm not going to stop. Even if they
Well,
censor it, which they will. They are already. They already block climate trails from like 4 or 5 different countries. Can't rent it.
well, yeah, VPNs,
I know. I told people that, like a lot
Get
of the
yourself a
comments,
VPN, people.
I told people, like, it's not available in Germany. It's not available in here and all these places. I'm getting DMs and emails up the ass. And I'm like, look, here's a free VPN, connect to the USA. You can watch it.
Mhm.
And,
So tell us. Obviously, we've seen the film. We've seen climate trails, and I'll be honest with you, Sean. I weren't a big chemtrail guy. I've took a few pictures of the sky and said, "There's something fucking going on here." But after watching that movie, I want to go out. I want to put the face mask on again, mate. Like Jesus.
please don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do it. Don't. If you've got a face mask on and you're driving a car, take the fucker off.
Don't ever wear one. But go ahead.
Yeah, unless if you're operating on somebody's brain or something, I get it. But apart from that, no face
Or
mask.
newborn baby, it's regulation. I get it. Yeah. But go ahead.
So this is your latest film, and I have to say you've turned my head. Like I'm worried, but I want you to explain something to me, because if the elites are doing this, surely they're fucking breathing this shit in as well.
Where do they live? Name one of these elite people and tell me where they live. I'll wait.
I mean, I don't like dead air, so you can be waiting a long time, mate.
There's watch Old World Order. There's underground cities.
Mm. Underground cities, and even when they've got like the above ground homes, we're talking private islands, aren't we?
Yeah, it's underground. There's also more land past Antarctica. It's really simple to just take the airships that they took away from us, which they still have. There are airships, giant airships in the world, guys. The Hindenburg didn't eliminate the technology. They have advanced it, but only they can use it, And this is why NASA hijacked all the helium. So we can make our own airships. We're smart people. We can go out there and figure out how to build our own airship and fit 1,000 people in there to travel with, 1,000 people comfortably, like they did back in Germany back in the day. And they've eliminated these resources for us. So we're stuck on this ball where it's like no one even really wants to go explore. There's nothing to explore, right? No, there is. But once you realize there could be endless amount of continents in God's world here, they've only publicly taught us about 7, and they keep us on that ball so we don't ask questions. But these elite people, I don't see Fauci at the mall, right? I don't see Bill Gates at somewhere in the public. I don't see the Rothschilds anywhere. I don't see the Rockefeller family anywhere where I can go and confront them. I don't see anybody. And the reason that you might see Trump and these other people in politics is because that's their job. Eventually they'll be off underground or in these extraterrestrial areas when the time comes. But I do see the side of it where you're like, well, they're breathing it in too. It's like, it's possible, but that's why the doctor in this film, Dr. Kaufman, broke down how we detox from it. So if there's already a public approach, just a general doctor, obviously, I guess technically a whistleblower in a sense, Dr. Kaufman in the film, but as a normal doctor, if a normal doctor could figure out how to detox from metal, what do the elite know? What do the elite take?
And also, it's a fucking great name, Dr. Kaufman.
Yeah. But think about it this perspective too. Even if they are temporarily here above ground, right, and Earth, for politics, for news opportunity, for whatever, it's a day or two, and they go back to wherever the fuck they are. We don't see these people. We don't see them. They're not breathing it in if they come up to breathe it in once or twice a year. And not only that, but there are days where they don't spray. Let's be honest. It's rare nowadays, geez, but there are days they don't spray. And there are countries in the world where they don't spray. So
what got me was the footage with the lady that she got pissed off that they were going over her land over and over again, and she went and confronted the pilots. and the reaction from the, I don't want to spoil them. Go,
Spoiler.
you've got
No,
to
no, no,
see
not a
this.
spoiler.
You've got to hear this with your own ears, people.
Let's just say for the audience that they don't deny a damn thing. They don't do what your neighbor would do when you tell them there's a chemtrail in the sky. They didn't do that. Oh, it's just a contrail. What are you talking about? They were a little shocked that someone caught him. But we also teach people in this film how you can also track the pilot that's spraying above your house. How you track them, how you look up their registration number, and how you know where they're landing. And it's a funny thing too. I'll give a spoiler alert. The app's called Flight Radar 24. It's an app that if you're flying in the sky, whether you're private, military, or doing something that's evil, you're on the radar. You have to be. That's just rules and regulations, because someone on American Airlines traveling has to know you're up there. They could crash into you, right? So you have to be on there. The difference is that when you open that app, if you look at you see a plane in the sky, it's really fucking tiny, but they're about cruising altitude 7 miles up, right? Super tiny. Yet somehow we see Starlink from 300 miles away. Okay. Which is smaller than a big jet. But anyways, so you look at the jet in the sky and you're like, oh, look, that's it's like Delta. Okay, let me open the Flight Radar app. And when you press on the Delta plane, you will see its entire route. Okay, so you'll see it left Boston and now it's going to Chicago. Makes sense, right? No one's going to question that. You see a straight line and it's going to land in Chicago. It even tells you where it's landing. The difference is when you see someone spraying chemicals out of their exhaust or the door or wherever the fuck they're spraying it from, there's multiple places they do this. You open that app and you click on the plane, there's no more straight lines. Their route is literally doing zigzags around an entire territory. Where the fuck are you going, buddy? What are you doing? And then this is the ability you have, which we go through in the film step by step on how to find where they're landing and do what she did. I want copycats, man. Let's just be honest. I and I've got some emails like people are putting some stuff together in America to show up in big groups where these motherfuckers land, and raise hell and keep it going. Put the pressure on these pilots to go to their boss going, dude, the public's aware. Like, fuck, like, what are we doing? Like, they're showing up every day now. Like, they're, and I'm not calling for violence, but what else can happen without change? I mean, that's what causes change. And it's an unfortunate situation that we're left with. What else can we do? I don't know what else to do, but I do want to give people the ability to do what they need to do to stop it.
Sean, do you think every single pilot is aware of this? Sorry, not every single one, but like the big ones.
You mean in terms of like normal pilots where I'm going on a flight? Those types of pilots?
Like commercial flights and things like that.
Which one are you asking?
What percentage of pilots that are up in the air know about this?
To make it easy, go for both pilots that are doing commercial flights and pilots that are spraying.
Yeah, commercial flight pilots. There's many testimonies of pilots in city council meetings and stuff like that, describing they don't know who's doing, like, they know about the spraying contracts and they don't know who it is. They don't know who's doing it. There's a famous one for your audience to reference. I think it was 2012, Mount Shasta, which actually I got Francis Mangles, the older gentleman in this film. I got him from that conference back then. I watched that back then, and I'm like, I got to get one of these guys that was in this conference. I couldn't get all of the pilot, but there was, commercial pilots in that city council meeting describing what we're talking about, that they know this is going on, but they don't know who is doing it. And it's not them, meaning it's not, you get on a regular airline to go see grandma. Don't worry about, you're not spraying anyone with chemicals at that sense. That's what contrails are. I mean, if the conditions are right, it'll produce a contrail. It disappears within 10 seconds. That's normal. That's standard. That's what we've seen since air travel started, depending on the condition, but these last forever. So to answer the first part of the question, I don't know about percentage. I'm more of the guy that walks off the plane and says, are we really spinning underneath? Are you landing on a moving landing pad here. I mean, or is the artificial horizon that you use and your instruments you use there telling you that we're a stationary plane? And I'll tell you the truth. I'd say 7 out of 10 pilots. I fly all the time. 7 out of 10 pilots, when I walk out that plane, know the Earth is flat. They know it.
Fuck.
7 out of 10. And they can't talk about it. One guy told me, this was in the terminal. He sat down, and I'm like, of course the pilot sits next to me. He's fucked up. He doesn't even know what he's doing to himself right now. And I just start hammering him. And he's like, look, man, the reason that most pilots will never speak about this because we'll be fired. And we love our jobs and we love the money and we'll be fired. But a lot of us know. But he goes, this is the barbershop talk in the airports, where they're all talking about it. But I've never really asked them about chemtrails. So
That's
I don't
in the
know.
movie that pilots have to. It's something about I can't remember what exactly the wording of it was, but like the ability to be able to fucking lie to the public was in what they have to sign when they go in for the job.
Discreet, to be discreet. Yeah, well, no, that's different. That's not a normal flight. So that's the second part of your question. Yeah, the ones, I think majority. I mean, the ones that are actually spraying us, I think that I can't even say the majority. It kind of defaults back to like NASA. I would assume 98% of, if not 99% of NASA employees have no idea the truth. They're just doing their job. They're printing their magazines. They're taking data from the bosses and they're putting it out to the public. They're as indoctrinated as a science teacher. It's just they're just regurgitating what they've learned. They believe in this system, and there's no reason to lie. So they're just going to continue going. I don't think they're meaning like they're not like a part of the lie. Like secretly they're lying to everyone. They know the truth. I don't think so. I think that they only hire people, specifically NASA now, that are dumb, indoctrinated, straight A students. They believe in this globular system and perfect person to hire. There's no critical thinking whatsoever. They're going to do as they're told. They're going to push our agenda. Let's hire them. So again, just like most of NASA is not in on the globe lie, I don't think that most of even the chemtrail spraying pilots are in on it because, again, like we show in the film, they have to be discreet. They have to, they can't talk about what's going on, the operation. But for all we know, when they get hired, they're, oh yeah, you're spraying mosquito repellent, and it's looked down upon to the public. So you got to sign this contract, but it really does help the environment. And they're like, whatever, great paycheck. I'll fucking sign. I won't say shit about mosquitoes. Or they're signing saying, you're just cloud seeding and you're helping it rain or you're helping it snow, but the public does not want this. So you have to sign here. So I don't think all the pilots that are spraying necessarily know, but I know a lot of, small amounts have to, because those are probably the ones that are making the big bucks, that know exactly what they're doing. They know how to do it. But I think it's a lot easier to pull an operation like this off consistently if you hire a bunch of retards that think that they're doing something else.
Yeah.
I some whistleblowers.
I think some people like involved know this stuff. On our old podcast, for instance, we had a NASA engineer on. He was actually one of the ones that I believe he was the patent holder for the locker mechanism on the ISS on the door. And after like 45 minutes into the podcast, I kind of derailed it a little bit and maybe lost a friend because I was like, well, what about all the like fake stuff that goes on in the ISS? As a provably fake stuff, like the guy disappearing behind the thing. That guy acted like, from being like the super smart NASA guy we were talking to a couple of minutes ago, turned into the stupidest person you ever met. He's like, no, I've no idea what you're talking about.
That's
no,
that's different.
Of course it is.
That's bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit. He knows. He can't be. They're told to deny. That's what they do. They just deny and try to flip it, make you look stupid. I have tried numerous times to interview or talk to anyone that works at NASA, and especially astronauts. No one will. There's no way. Like they look me up like fuck no. So they just know. Like they know there's just no chance. But that's why in Level with Me, the part 3 of my Level series documentaries, me and Justin Harvey and Austin Whitsitt, we had to figure out a way to get into an astronaut's face. And we waited for a day that there's an astronaut speaking in Florida at the Kennedy Center, Space Center. And there's signs everywhere that says you can't bring in any type of cameras, audio equipment, anything. I mean, it's like jail time type of signs. It's illegal. You can't bring. You can only bring your smartphone in. There's nothing else technically. You can't bring anything in. So, we were all risking it because I was wearing a belt with a lavalier hidden inside the belt secretly. So was Justin, and I actually had I don't have them in front of me. I really don't use them anymore, but those little Rode wireless lav packs, right? And what I did, because I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, they're like Austin told me, Whitsitt, he's like, they're NASA employees. They're all jabbed. They're all stupid. They're not even gonna know what's going on. I'm like, people know what, meaning when you're walking through security, I'm like, people know what roadie boxes are. There's only one thing they do. They record. So I came up last minute with the idea to buy MP3 player case covers, like the rubber cases for little MP3 players with, like, it says Sony on it or Walkman or something, right? So I covered up the roadies with a Walkman, and instead of plugging obviously the lavs in our belts secretly, instead of where you plug the lav mic into the top of the roadie with the microphone, what I did was I plugged in earbuds, so it really gave the illusion of an MP3 player. And I actually had them on. There's nothing going on in my ear. It's earbuds plugged into a roadie, completely off, doing nothing. But when I walked through security, I took my earbuds out, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's my MP3 player." And they looked at it, and it says Sony Walkman, and there's earbuds. Completely sold it. The belts. When that was the plan. I told him, I said, "Don't take your belt off. Let it beep. Trust me, let it beep." Some more. They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "You'll see what I mean." I've done this multiple times for airports back in the day. Now I get patted down once I learned all that. But back in the day, I just want to take my fucking belt off. When it beeps, I'll say it's my fucking belt. And I'm like, all right. And that's exactly what happened. It's like beep. And I'm like, I lift it up in my belt, and I act like I'm going to take it off. And they're like, just go. It's just your belt. Hey, you don't know what's in the belt. And then we, no homo, we all ran to the men's bathroom, and we took the lavs out, hooked everything up, and we were on. We were just, and we're waiting for this astronaut to show up, and she did. And I don't know if you saw Level with Me, but
yeah,
Justin did a great job, just right in her face, like, yeah, like the public knows you guys are faking this. Like there's bubbles. He's just going at her. He did a brilliant job in that film, but you got to be strategic with this. Same thing with getting these Challenger astronauts present day, or their doppelgangers, to be exposed. You have to think outside the box. So I had some guy just camp out at Yale, where she works, for hours.
The Challenger astronaut thing is wild. For anyone that hasn't seen that before, the astronauts from the Challenger, to all intents and purposes, are completely fine, living. Some of them are living lives even with the same names that they had in the first place.
No. They all have the same names.
It's all the same names. No one's changed a name.
Now, Krista McAuliffe used her middle name. She flipped it around. So her astronaut name is Krista Sharon McAuliffe, but the teacher at the university is Sharon McAuliffe. So that's the only change. Everybody else is the same name, besides the twins. Just so happens that Onizuka and McNair, out of nowhere, have twins. It's like, well, when they died, wouldn't you have seen the twin then at all times speaking about their brother's death? And it's like they just write that off. Like, wouldn't they be speaking at your funeral? And they're not that, like, family portraits of them. There should be two of you. There's one. It's just sketchy. But definitely the main three: Judith Resnick, Dick Scobie, and Michael J. Smith. Those three. Meaning it wouldn't matter if the other three died. They died from another cause. It wasn't that day. They all could be dead right now, but those three are definitely 100% alive, and it is them. It 100%. And I'm using that 100% on stuff. I'll even throw 98, 99 at times. This is 100, just like the Apollos were faked. There's certain 100% of things, and the research I did on specifically those three actronauts are, and you have to understand too, for people like, oh, come on, they would have changed their name. Look, man, this is the 80s. Internet's not available. No such thing. Not even a whisper that the internet's coming. YouTube, all these things that they had no idea was going to come. And once it got outed, this is why Dick Scobie completely destroyed his public profile on the internet. It's bleached. Good luck looking up Richard Scobie now, meaning present day. But back in 2014, I went to his official website. He owned a company in Chicago called Cows and Trees. It's a marketing firm, right? He was one of the only ones that didn't get a prestige job. But who knows? He under the witness protection in NASA, he could have got a nice settlement, and he just wanted to do a marketing company. Maybe he chose that light. And his company was called Cows and Trees. But when I was investigating this back in 2015, he was the one. I'm like, well, I got to find something on. Everything else was blowing my mind. I'm like, okay, what's up with Richard Scobie? Let's see. Richard Scobie, Dick Scobie. What can I find? And boom. I mean, there was just endless amounts of his marketing company and his current day face all over it. And I'm like, all right, come on. I'm like, this one's hilarious. Now they both have that palsy face, and they're twins. They're literally what he looks like 20 or 30 years later. It's exactly what it is. And when I went to his website, of course you can't go there now. Once YouTube blew all that stuff up, back when they didn't ban stuff, is when he deleted everything about his present day self, including the company and the website and everything. Why would you do that if you're not him? Makes no sense. But when I went to Cows and Trees, the website, once you went to the website, it loaded a cow on a rocket going up and making like that 6 smoke circle, just like the NASA Challenger, where it was just like, where everybody was like, oh no, it blew up. And I call it a 6. It looks like one.
Yeah.
It's, that cloud, that infamous cloud that everybody knows is Challenger explosion. Well, that is what the cow is doing on a rocket. This is a marketing company. Well, first of all, why do you have a rocket in there? If it's Cows and Trees is the name, you would expect a cow in a tree somewhere or something creative. But no, it's a cow on a fucking rocket making the exact same smoke shape. I mean, you could literally look at it side by side, the NASA explosion and his Cows and Trees graphic. It's exactly the same thing. It's not even a little bit different. And he looks just like him, same name, same age, and then he disappears off the face of the earth. But it's anyways, yeah, I mean, NASA.
But this is what they do. Like people like yourself, they'll demonize because they'll say, "Oh, these people are dead. Have a heart." You listen to what you're saying. That's what
somebody think of the children
say, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what's going on with Charlie Kirk right now. Same thing. Can't question anything because he's got kids.
I was scared of that segue.
No, we don't got to segue there. We can do that later. But I'm just making a point. This is why they include wives and kids in any event, any psyop, anything that they're trying to do to the public. It's pre-planted, in my opinion. I'm not even talking about Charlie. I'm just talking about anything that they pre-plant this for that reason. You're soulless. I can't believe that you would think that this is a psyop, a hoax. And it's like, these people died in the rocket, man. And I was there. I saw it on TV. Of course you saw it on TV. They rolled out TVs across the entire country of the United States of America. They made sure that every child that was attending school that day watched the Challenger explode live. First time that's ever happened. Why this stupid rocket? Who gives a fuck? Even at that time. Like, dude, they're sending rockets up all the time. But no, this one, we got to show the kids. And those kids are now boomers, technically.
What do you think? Like because I remember the graphic you're talking about with the cow and the rocket.
Yeah.
What do you think the reason for that is? is that revelation of the method?
course.
Is it mockery, or is it both?
Well, they have to live by revelation of method. It's their karmic laws. I mean, they have to tell you. And but I think it's a little bit of both for someone like Dick Scobie, because he was living a normal life. I mean, you know, you're not that famous, dude. You were on TV for a month up to the Challenger exploded, and then people are sad and they move on. You know, fast forward even a year later, they place him, say he lived in Arkansas, they moved him to Utah. No one's gonna fucking know who that is. Nobody's gonna know who that is, man.
Even that, even if you when you look like identical to somebody, it's just normal to go, oh, doesn't that guy look like John Travolta, or doesn't that guy look like Eddie Bravo? You know, it's just it's just what we do. Like, we compare things.
No, we do, but it's different when it's actually like Justin Harvey actually did the math, but it was something like 1 in a multi-trillion-dollar percentage that you can have. And I'm just going to pick on 3. You got 3 people that supposedly died on the same day. To find 3 exact doppelgangers that look exactly the same, speak exactly the same, and have the same fucking name.
Same country as well. Yeah, it's not like you talk about, well, we found one, he's German now.
I know, and that's the point. It's like, well, that means all of them did. I mean, if 3 of them are alive, that means the whole thing was a sham. Even if 1 of them was still alive, the whole thing's a sham. But 3 for sure are. And then when you look at McNair and Onizuka, you know, they write that off as like, well, no, these are their twins. Okay, good excuse.
Sorry, Jolly, just quickly, I think as well, if they had twins, at least one of those people, there would have been something in the marketing sort of campaign on the lead up to it. You know, it's like you say, an interview with going, oh, well, who knows if we'd swap? You know, maybe I'll go.
Or maybe one photo or video of them together as twins.
Yeah.
Never happened. Why not? Twins aren't, you know, they're not that common. But here's my point, though. If McNair and Onizuka have twins, well, leading up to the Challenger, you know, these are NASA astronauts, right? These are American heroes. No mention of it. I'm telling you now, I watch everything. I watch everything before I make a determination to put something in a film, because I don't want to be a liar. That's my fear. Like, make sure this is legit. And then I'm like, I have to. God's just like, go. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I looked for weeks on this, sometimes months, and everything before the Challenger and the introduction of these astronauts to have this Challenger event. Yeah, there's nothing there on these guys. Like, so these guys come out of nowhere, and girls, Judith, and then this teacher, George Bush pulls out of a hat apparently and says, oh, you won. Yeah. As we know now, nothing's random. Nothing's like, this is all pre-planned, scripted. They chose her. She's in the club. But, you know, when you look back and go, wait, but how could there never have been? It's kind of like Michelle Obama pregnant pictures, right? How those don't exist? How are there no photos of these twins together as children, as teenagers? Especially when these people died in an explosion, you would think that it'd be releasing memories and family photos, and there's just nothing, man. There's nothing. No one spoke at the funeral, and it's weird. It's weird to say the least. But again, I don't get too much into the teacher or the twins, because those can be just written off by people somehow and just dismissed. Like, well, no, that was just a random teacher. Oh, that was their twin. And then you're combating with retards. So you go, okay, well, Judith Resnick, Michael J. Smith, and Dick Scobie. What's your excuse for those 3? Oh, nothing. Okay. So let's focus on those 3 the most, because there is no excuse for it. So that's why I tend to focus more on those 3. And plus, like, I have some intel on, I don't know if I can legally say it, but I know where they live. Let's put it that way.
When it comes to the chemtrails, though, so covering up distance, spraying us, giving us cancers, I don't know, doing something to do some sort of Project Blue Beam, poisoning us always seems to come to mind with me. What do you think the main thing they're doing it for? Is it just is it
It's multifaceted, man.
right?
It's all the above, man. I mean, they don't do something this evil without more than one reason, as you know. It's always when they're doing something this big of a deal, there's so many reasons. Yeah, poisoning us, obviously. I mean, aluminum, barium, strontium, this is kryptonite to human beings. You know, the metal itself, it's not just breathing in poison, which is going to keep us sick and docile and you know, just make us feel like shit and cloudy brain all the time, but we can't think for ourselves. But it's also replacing the metals that our body's supposed to be getting, the iron, the calcium, you know, the metals that were the zinc, like the stuff that our body, a human being, is supposed to have in them. You know, like to say, oh, your bones are hurting, you're low on calcium. Well, your bones are hurting because the metals you're breathing in are replacing the calcium in your bones. So it's to destroy us and our health. And yeah, it could be definitely used as a blanket, a sort of projector screen in our sky, because even when it is a clear blue sky, which is rare, but even when they don't spray for the day or for the week, even it's not as blue as it was when I was a kid, man. Like it was super blue up there. It was like it hurt your eyes blue. And now there's like always this white haze. There's always, even if there's no spraying going on, it's still not as blue as it used to be. So yeah, it's very possible that they're setting the stage for a giant projector screen. And what better way to do it than because again, we're in an enclosed system, as you know. I hope you know. You know, there's no upper space. There definitely is outer space past the 60th parallel. That is outer, and that is the space outside of our realm. But in terms of looking up, I mean, that's the sky's the limit, as they say, and that's true. So if they keep continuing to spray, and who knows, they're probably spraying stuff that really might even be toxic to us per se, but it is helping build their screen up there, where it's going to consistently have this almost like a permanent effect up there, where now when they're beaming shit, if they choose to go that route, which I'm sure we all know that they at least will attempt, I think it's too late for them to do that. I think too many people are aware. I think they're going to ruin it if they do this. It's going to, I mean, yeah, I mean, the general public's going to fucking probably have a heart attack from blue beam, but people like us are going to be like, oh God, here they go. And how scared are you really when it happens? You're not like you would have been 20 years ago. You've been shit your pants.
It feels like it's going that way, doesn't it? You know, the all these sightings. I've just looked at the like supposed like drone, which just shut the airport down in Copenhagen, and you know, like that's for all intents and purposes, that's a fucking spaceship with a fucking green light underneath it. That's a UFO, that, and it's
man-made.
Every week there seems to be something else of this, even if they're like little bullshitty stories, you know, like the which I think might be a bullshitty story, which we talked about last night, that black goo stuff that some guy had, he kept it in a safe and stuff like that,
And a fridge.
now the wild thing about these stories is we've always had these things, you know, because people are creative. You know, they've like these things will bubble up on YouTube and stuff like that. Someone would look at them, like the homunculus thing always sticks in my head from back in the early days YouTube. But they never made like millions of people never seen them before. And I don't think people hear about this thing of, oh, well, it's gone viral. Things only go viral when those platforms want them to go viral.
Correct. I agree. But, you know, in terms of UFOs, those are all man-made. Those are all man-made vehicles. Now, I theoretically probably would admit that they're reverse engineered from stuff they found from ancient civilizations. But at the same time, anything you see in the sky that looks like a UFO, it's either drone-based technology that looks the same, or it's electrostatic vehicles. And, you know, I cover that level with me as well. I feel like we're pitching level with me more here, but it's fine. Like level, I even put this in level with me where, you know, I have black and white old footage of them putting UFOs up. I mean, and these are people that are walking with the UFO and then putting it up in the air. And The only way you can have a craft, build a craft that can hover and then move on a dime. It's the only propel system to use, which is why they said in the film it's classified. They won't release how even the thing that was publicly man-made that they're putting up there. They won't release how because they don't want copycats doing this stuff. It's all electrostatics. Everything above us is electric, right? The ground is the ground. That's why things are attracted to the ground because of its electric charge. And the higher you go up, the more electricity there is. And it's not gravity, magical gravity. That's just their god to defend their ball. It doesn't matter what you do to question the globe Earth. It's gravity, that explains it. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't make sense. But the answer is gravity. So they have this magical force where it backs up this fucking childhood story of bullshit with gravity. At the end of the day, gravity, if you look at the formula of gravity, it's literally almost carbon copied. A small portion of it is carbon copied from the electrostatic formula. So they took the real science, electrostatics, everything's electric. Everything in front of you is electric, including us. Everything is electric. They took the real scientific electrostatic formula, took some of the parts of it, put it over in the corner and said, that's gravity. And they keep repeating it over. And then it's like, there's two different types of gravity over the past 30 years. What is it? Einsteinian and then Newtonian, and it's all changed, right? And it'll continue to change, just like the sun's distance has changed through time. 100 years ago, the sun was like 1 million miles away. And then it went up to 50 million miles. And then it actually went higher than its standard now, 93 million. It was like, at one point, it was like 106 million miles away. And then now it's back down to 93. It's been 93 for a while. But the point is that, they control the narrative at all times through school, through media, government. So, I mean, they can tell you whatever they want to sell you on, and they just hope it works. But, we're living in a different day and age now where we're all supposed to be critically thinking and questioning things. And even if you see something in the sky that looks like, what's a UFO? It didn't come from above. It didn't enter in from above into our system. It came from somewhere else to hover over you to scare everybody and to, oh my God, aliens are coming. It's like, yeah. So they crashed in Roswell from trillions of light years away, or they came from the outer lands and, that was a 2-hour flight. I mean, which one sounds more realistic? I think that a lot of these crafts are stored somewhere far away where we can't see them. But when they bring them over to our side of the earth, it's just propaganda, fear driven. They want people to get used to seeing them. So if they do blue beam, I think that they would do blue beam along with real crafts.
Do you think they're going to do a blue beam?
I did. 3-4 years ago, I would have told you yes. That would have been my 99%. Now I'm not so sure. I feel like it's kind of the same reason why they wouldn't try to pull off another COVID-19. It's too late. They can't. They fucked up. And I think
if it's not a 3-eye atlas.
Go ahead, say it.
I was just going to say, I think if they don't try it with this 3-eye atlas, then it's probably not going to happen, because now feels like the perfect time. They've got people looking at it.
I said that 4 years ago. That's the point too. You know what I mean? Like, it's always the perfect time for them to pull their last card. But I think they're holding on to that last card. I mean, that's that. Here's my opinion. Here's my honest opinion. If they utilize blue beam to try to scare the public, I think it'll fail overall. But at the same, because social media and podcasting and our voices are so powerful that they're like, fuck, like this might not work. But at the same time, if they pull that off, just know there's good in that. And the good is they're done.
That's it. That's all they've got left.
Because the demons are leaving this earth. The evil is eradicating. We're going to have heaven on earth again. If you look into the little season, not that I'm a firm believer in it, but it all makes sense that we are living out the end of Satan's reign. And Jesus was whatever you say, think about Jesus and prophecies and all this stuff. According to the little season, Jesus already was here. And this old world, these huge cathedrals and stone masonry and all this beautiful stuff that you'll never see recreated today, that's the palaces that Jesus was living in. And this wasn't that long ago, guys. Like, they want to take Jesus back, what is it, a couple thousand years, I would assume, right? Whatever it is. And then no, in my opinion, no, this was couple hundred years ago, man. And they've covered it up ever since. And they're still covering up the buildings and the palaces that he had that had, the whole world had free electricity, free energy. The whole world was resonating with frequencies and vibrations and living in harmony. And they've destroyed this. The New World Order came in to destroy it and to completely change the curriculum, completely change what we're taught, to take the orphan trains, bring kids in here, populate the country themselves, educate them what the story they want. Don't ask questions or you're going to go to the insane asylum. It was a crazy time 100 years ago. But I think it was a big push to cover up what just left, what was being covered up recently. They want to push everything so far back. That's why it's confusing, because you can go to parts of Europe, right, and see these cathedrals that look just like the cathedrals over here in America. The difference, I mean, literally the same shape, same size.
Exactly the same.
The difference, though, is that when you're out in Europe, they'll tell you that shit was from 4 AD was when it was built. 4 AD. And you come to America, oh no, it was founded in 1892.
Yeah.
Well, but it's the same fucking thing. What if in the 1700s the whole world looked like that and Jesus was already here?
The same tactics are being used as well in education. This hits home for me like pretty hard at the minute, because my son is in primary school, and at the minute, it's always confused me. Everyone in school did Egyptology at some point. And you do it early, which is really weird. It's really weird that you do more Egyptology at school at a young age than you do your own history of the country you're living in. And I was talking to him the other day, and he was talking to me about the pharaohs that were buried in the tombs, and that's what the pyramids were for. Like, we know, right? Even if you take the conspiracy side of it out and when they were built and stuff, we know for facts now that there was no mummies found in these in these pyramids. And yet there is still, when you see the school books, they still talk about finding mummies in them. That's where they were buried. It was just, unfortunately, they got grave robbed, and it's just insane to me that
they still teach Columbus discovered America, and that's not true. Yeah. There's a lot of, and the reason that they're not going to change the narrative is because it's worked up to this point. This is how they have molded a brain dead society so they can rule over it. You can't have intelligent, critical thinking people, which is another reason why they don't talk about a globe in high school.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about that in high school because your brain's working by then.
Yeah.
You're more critically thinking in high school as you grow up to go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Wait, I've never seen curvature. Wait, hold on. I got a question about something. I saw something that was 100 miles away on the map. How's that possible? That's the shit that would be happening in high school. But they teach you K through 5, and then by then it's universal fact, and they move on. We don't even want to bring it up again, the shape of the earth. There's certain things that they do it on purpose, because this is what started the whole Board of Education to begin with. It's all been hijacked. So all the information was hijacked, and the Rockefellers started the Board of Education early 1900s. But before the Board of Education, they already had our ancestors in asylums. So whether it be great-grandpa, great-great-great-grandpa, it just depends on how old you are. But at a certain point, all of our ancestors were a part of these asylums, brought to the country, put in asylums. As they grow up like all that. What they just went through right now was normal because everybody's doing it, just like public school. It's normal, right? So these asylums were normalized, but they're being taught lies by the rulers. So when those kids grow up and have their own family, by the time they had their own family, public schools were open, and it's the law. You got to put them in school. So they just go through the motion. I'm sure those parents that were in the asylum back in the day that had kids go to public school were like, man, you guys got it good. These are nice looking schools and stuff, funded by the Rockefellers, of course. So if you didn't push his books and his narratives, I mean, he would give these schools free books. You have to teach this, though. And you see this shift happen, because even when they changed, because I know in the the 20s, the 30s, and even in through the 40s. And I'm hearing now through the 50s and parts of the 60s, even in America. Public school in the United States of America, we're teaching that the earth was flat. The globe came out of nowhere. And again, people will look at me like, oh, you're retarded, man. We've known about this for thousands of years. The Romans, the Greeks. And no. Shh. It's a story that was put in these newer books of our ancestors. So yes, when they opened the book in the 40s, there's a story that this was known for thousands of years. You can't say that today, because the first time that paradigm shifted was in the early 1900s. Is when they started to throw this in everyone's face that you live on this ball here, because you can't have a new world order if you have freedom. If the people have freedom, you can. And this is a way to keep everybody contained and not asking questions.
Do you know what sticks out for me with the globe? And I can remember this from school. They made a big deal about telling you that when they discovered it was a globe, people were executed. People lost their lives for saying it was a globe. And they really... So I'm wondering if that's bullshit.
I think
Did people lose their lives for saying it was a globe, or is that just a made-up story?
Yeah, no, I think it's all made up. Because what that does is that feeds into your soul. Is like, oh, those brave people, right? They try to make you feel like that they're. But you think about it this way, though. You know, this was modern day that people claimed that they were getting murdered for saying the Earth's a ball. I thought everybody knew. What do you mean? Thousands of years, Romans and Greeks and everybody knew. But then when you actually go back to look at the Romans and the Greeks and kind of every single aspect of being taught a globe, it stems from a lie. So you can't defend that lie with what the storybook says X, Y, or Z. You're referencing the lie still. These are characters, Columbus, Aristophanes, anybody that were taught in school in that book of the past is made up. It's literally Mickey Mouse. They're just drawing a human being saying, this guy knew this, so believe us. It's all fake. These aren't real historians. These aren't real people. There's no accounts for them, any of them. It's all a part of the New World Plan, which is we've been living through. And so most of our, ancestors have been living through it as well. But it's time for a change. And I don't know when that change is going to come, man. I really don't.
Do you think it will come?
I think in our lifetime it will. Yeah. Because the truth will never stop, man. It's only going to grow. It's only doing this. Everything is all the truth and all the conspiracies and all the rabbit holes, the attention behind them are going up. No one's going back saying, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to go back to the globe now. Or, you know what? I'm going to go back to vaccines are really good for you. Like, no one's like going backwards. So since no one's going backwards, it's only going to spiral into eventually we're all going to be in the state of truth mindset. But again, I think it's on purpose in terms of God's world, because we're going to be alive during the shift because we're going to see evil exit. There's no other way. It has to end. Everything comes to an end. And I honestly think that we're at the end of it all. And I think that they're going to go out with a bang. They already are. But they're going to show you all their cards. And in the process of showing you their cards, they're not going to try that hard anymore. I feel like these past dozen psyops and false flags have been lazy. Even as something as little as Elon Musk putting a car in space, it's terrible. I show people that believe in the globe that I'm like, did you know Elon put a car in space? And they don't even know.
Best tires ever.
I know, but I'm like, this is something you defend. This should be a poster on your wall if you believe it's real. It's awesome. If you think it's real, you don't even know about it because they pulled it out. It's so bad. Just fucking cancel it, man. And then I show people that believe in the globe that, and they look at me like I made it up. They're like, "Oh, you made this." I'm like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, I actually probably make something better looking. I was like, this is terrible, but this is sold to the public as real. And they don't even take that information as like, man, maybe there's something to this. They just write it off because they want to keep defending something because they don't want to be the black sheep of the family. They don't want to be ridiculed by peers. that they feel a certain way. Man, the truth is the truth. I mean, once you stop caring about feelings, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. If you stand in your truth, feelings are the last thing you care about. Truth is the truth, man. You know, it's like someone calling me a racist because, okay, so I grew up in Chicago and I've seen black on black crime all the time. Chicago is a super, super black neighborhood with super, super amounts of murders and robberies and you name it. Is that racist that I said that? Or is it true? Well, it's true. That's the truth. Anyone can look at the stats. So, but as easy as someone can call me saying, man, you just said Chicago is mostly black and filled with murders and crimes and fucking racist. It's like, how is that racist? The truth is the truth. Doesn't matter if I hurt anyone's feelings. You know, like once we stop caring about feelings, then we can all speak truth and we can make changes. But it's people's feelings that get in the way. Some people are like, oh, I can't talk about that on my show. Like, you know, I mean, this podcast I've been on before we start, they're like, all right, Hibbler, let's not bring up this, or this on this show. Okay. Just for our audience's sake. And it's like, that's all feeling based right there. Mm. It's like, you don't want to hurt your audience's feelings based on my facts. Like you're against the truth. You don't want to talk about the truth because it might disturb your audience. Why the fuck am I on your show? Do you know who I am?
Well, speaking about disturbing the truth, so I jokingly said about the Charlie Kirk bit. I'm interested though. So what are your thoughts? Come on, fucking destroy the podcast. Oh, man. No, don't destroy the podcast.
Look, man, just like George Floyd, when you take a step back and look at what it is, it's a Masonic ritual. It's a Masonic. Everything smells masonry in this, and same thing with Charlie Kirk. You know, how about this? Let me flip it on you. From what you've seen, I want to know. We're going to play like this game where it's kind of like the globe. When I'm on the show and the people I'm on the show would think that it's a globe, like they believe in the globe. I always start with, why do you think it's a globe? So why do you think that Charlie Kirk got shot and killed in Utah, hauled off in an SUV, and his wife's sad and doing eulogies, and there's funerals with fireworks? Like, well, what is it to you that stands out as real there? There's no wrong answer, just your opinion. What's real about it? I want to hear it.
We did a podcast, didn't we, Lee?
Yeah,
literally.
Like a couple of minutes before and realistically, I think I said on the follow-up podcast we did to it, and I've thought more about it and more stuff's come out. I think it's really, before I answer, I think it's really interesting that because we've got this connected world right now, we're seeing what happens if they try and do a Kennedy in the new media world. And I think we haven't really seen anything like this before. And that's why we had Coach Colin from YouTube on the other day, and he summed it up perfectly. He said, like, in 24 hours, it's gone from an assassination to Kennedy-level conspiracy theories overnight. And I was really angry at first. And like I'd argue it's unlike me. Because I always think to myself, if I see something or read something and I get an immediate emotional response to it, I always think,
well, you just said the keyword, emotion. When you have,
I'm supposed to.
Of course, that's it, because it's natural.
Yeah.
But remember this, and this is a fact: when your emotions at an all-time high in any situation, doesn't matter what we're talking about. When emotions are high, logic is low.
Yes.
Period. You cannot think logically. And look, I'll be the first to admit, when I saw the first thing with Charlie Kirk, neck blood, I'm like, oh shit, they just fucking popped this dude. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm human. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't I think that? Just like 9/11. Oh shit, planes ran into a building. Well, I have a whole different story now, don't I? But at the same time, all the buildings fell from the fire, I guess. So, it's, emotions are high, logic's low. When you flip that, you go, wait a minute, hold on. Let me think about this now. Especially the gun they said it was, would have tore his entire head off. So I don't know why they lied to say it was this type of gun that was shot. They should have picked a normal gun. But anyways, this is the revelation of method where it's past revelation of method. They're giving you breadcrumbs to follow to make you go, wait, well, this is all fake. What the fuck is going on? This is terrible. But the type of gun they said, either way, let's put that aside. You get shot in the neck. Obviously, it's protruding blood. I hope you guys all agree that he'd be bleeding out for at least a few minutes.
I mean, I was amazed because I don't know what the I'm
meaning that that's not going to stop. Yes or
but
no?
It's not going to stop, and
But the
sheer volume as well.
But
the
it did.
Sheer volume, yeah. And the sheer volume. We've got 8 pints in us.
I get it, but you can't look past that. It did stop, and it stopped within 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Because as they're hauling him up, by the way, in a real situation like that, people are panicking. Even his friends that are there, or his security team, they're panicking. I mean, you got to come back to reality here. You're fuck. What? Someone call 911. I mean, it's chaos. No one's thinking straight. Everyone's maybe they're gonna put something over his neck, wrap it, hold him. Fuck. No, it was shot, fall, carry off into an SUV like this. Mm-hmm. But what people don't notice, because again, emotions override the logic. Now, when you flip that and go, wait a minute, when they're carrying him into the SUV, there's no blood dripping on the ground whatsoever. Not a drop. And not a drop of blood is on any of the people carrying him. It makes no sense. There's no...
It would have been a bloodbath, a literal bloodbath.
There's no sense in that. And then you go a further step later and realize that apparently it's one of his best friends. I can only imagine how I would react if my best friend was shot right in front of me. You know what the last thing I would care about if my friend was shot and killed right in front of me is my cameras and my SD cards.
When the guy starts stripping the set down.
Not only that, but Charlie just got hauled off, carried out into the SUV, and his buddy's standing there and, I gotta do my job. Grabs the chair. By the way, that's tampering with evidence. That's illegal in America. You go to prison. Mm-hmm. Grabs a chair that Charlie is sitting on, just died on. No big deal. Just died, but whatever. Let me grab the chair, put it up against the wall, stand in the chair, take this camera down, put this SD card in here. You got that camera. You are tampering with evidence. You should be in prison. But you know why they're not in prison? Because not one cop showed up. You know why? Because it's not real. There'd be cops swarming. This is a college campus, guys. There would be policemen, ambulance. Doesn't matter that they already hauled them away. They don't need an ambulance. It doesn't matter. It's standard protocol. Ambulance and police are showing up to a crime scene to double check that everyone else is safe too. Who knows? Maybe the bullet ricocheted and hit someone else. No one fucking knows. No ambulance, no police. And not only that, the next day they're at the crime scene digging it up. Did you guys know that?
No, I had no idea.
It's not there anymore. If you go to Utah right now, where Charlie was sitting, that whole podium and all that, and it's not there anymore. They dug it up. They're replacing it with something new. Of course, they're going to make an excuse of probably some sort of, a memorial, or I don't fucking know. But it was the next day. They didn't want anyone going to the crime scene. And in my opinion, the reason they didn't want anyone like us, meaning going to the crime scene the next day or even later that night, is because you wouldn't see any blood. And the blood you did see that spilled out right there on the ground could probably be easily known as, why am I slipping on this stuff? Because real blood would have stained the concrete. No one would have saw that stain. No one would have saw anything. They would have saw some really light red liquid on the ground. Could have probably easily took a sample of it, probably sell half on eBay to retards. And then the other half could have sampled it. Well, this isn't real. So there's multiple facets of why they'd want to quickly cover up all of this. And in the process, distract you with fireworks show funerals. And here's the thing. I'll admit, when me and my wife watched Erica Kirk's eulogy the next day, right? And at that time, again, I'm still kind of in the mindset of like, they just popped this kid. I don't know anything about Charlie Kirk. Never watched him. I just knew he loved Israel, and that's really all I knew about him. So I'm like, okay, she's like, I want to say, okay, let's watch. And in my head, I'm like, man, this might be sad. I mean, my wife might cry during this, I hope not. Gonna ruin my night here. But And we're watching this, and I have an open mind, and I'm still me though, guys. So it's still a little bit different than a normal person, but I'm watching this, giving it the benefit of the doubt. Within 5 minutes of her speaking, it was almost the same time. Me and my wife look at each other and are just like, what the fuck is going on right now? This is super fake. This is not sincere. There's something wrong right now. And she's doing the fake wipe tears. There's nothing there, bitch. You're in 4K. Did you not know what 4K looks like? You're not crying. You're pretending to cry. And not only that, but every single word that she spoke at that eulogy was read on a script. Now, someone could be like, look, that's smart to do. That's professional, write something and then read it out. But not when you're telling a story about the last time you saw him, or the story about your daughter running up. She said something like, our daughter ran up to us last night. I mean, ran up to me. Oh yeah, because Charlie's dead. You just said us. I get that could be a far-fetched one, but it's just the point. The smirking, the smiling. There was more smiling and smirking during the eulogy than any sadness. And there's just certain things that she said that sounded so Masonic. And so when that came out, I was thrown back in my chair. So was my wife. She's like, we need to start looking into this. I'm like, yeah, it's time to use logic, right? Okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me pull up the shooting. Let me look. I'm like, oh man, that does look fake. Like, wait, how'd the blood stop? Wait a minute. This guy's got a white t-shirt on. Why is it still white after he got shot? There was nothing staining his white shirt. It was literally pouring down his white shirt like his shirt was made of glass, just beating off of it. Even silk. I know it's a cotton shirt. I already looked. I cross-referenced and I went back to look and see, could that have been a silk shirt? Maybe it didn't stain as easy. It still would have stained, I read. But nothing, not a drop landed on his shirt and stayed there. So there's just like all these inconsistencies of it all. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be that guy, because people, famous podcasters, a lot of celebrities, people I have in my phone book, they believe in this thing. I can't be public about that. It's too soon, right? Now, for me, it's like, yeah, I know I'm on your show publicly, but at the same time, I'm not going out of my way to talk about all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But if someone brings it up, even the people on my phone book that knew him, that if they want to have the conversation with me, I will school them and I will show them what I've seen and will show them that nothing is consistent with this. And then, of course, you got the conspiracy people that are like, it was a projected hologram. That thing that was right above him that they took down first was projecting him. He was just throwing stuff before. So I'm not saying that they don't have a lead there of some sense, because technology is crazy. They show you all the time where someone's over here in another building, but yet they're live at concert and it looks real, right? So I get where they're coming from. I can't get on board with that, because that to me is more of a conspiracy where it's like, how the fuck would I prove that? Like, you got to move on from stuff you can't prove. But there's certain things, and if you look logically and go, yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And then when you see Erica Kirk at the casket, I don't know if you saw that, but
I saw that.
Someone's filming over her shoulder, and she's, oh, baby.
Right. What
the fuck, bro? I just buried my brother 2 weeks ago, 45 years old, from obesity. If someone came to me and started filming, you have no idea. I would have went to jail that day. I don't care if it was my aunt. I'm going to jail that day. Don't film this. Don't film this. But again, you could look at it like maybe she wanted it filmed. Okay, let's put that aside. She wanted it filmed. Look at her rings she's wearing. They're Masonic rings. Right there. You can look and say, oh, she's got Freemason rings on. And not only that, but man, his hands, I get how the dead, the color of their skin looks different. That's a whole nother story. That looks like a fucking mannequin.
I was just going to say that.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, my best friend, when he died in a car accident, his hands kind of look like that. I will say that, because somebody else said this to me. Like, one of my mates said it looks like a mannequin. I'm like, listen, my mate's hands look exactly like that.
And I get that.
Just plain yellow.
I get that. But when you see everything else that I've seen and you put it together, now you can default to, yeah, that's a fucking mannequin, bro.
Do you know, the thing that made me go, "Oh, right, okay, there's more to this," and I've been reactionary with how I've been with this to
Emotion,
begin with.
yeah, which is normal.
What was the people talk about the bone? You know, I think it was on Fox News or something like that. How the bullet had hit the bone. That's why there's no exit wound. And it was the doctor turned around and said, "Oh, he was just in such good shape. He was in such good shape that his bone density was so incredible that it stopped the bullet." And it was he referred to him as he was almost Superman. And then the narrative after that was Charlie Kirk saved lives even in his death. And when I was reading this and like what I watched the news thing afterwards, I thought, you've gone too far now, because me, who was fully on board with all this, is going, that's fucked. Like you cannot tell me. Yeah, Charlie Kirk looked like he was in reasonable condition. Bullet stopping with bone condition, I fucking draw the line at.
Yeah, and then there's that theory out there that he had a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
he didn't. I look. If you look at the photos of him before the shooting, everybody focuses on the shooting over and over again. Look at him when he's standing up, waving to people, throwing his hats. Of course, he threw 6 hats, but looking at his hats and everything, and he's there and waving his stuff. You see his nipples. You can see his necklace. There's nothing. He has nothing on underneath. But right before the shooting, you see his shirt. It looks, I can't do it out here. It looks like a tube. It's coming from here to here. So whatever that thing, and I talked to my buddy who's done a lot of horror movies. He's a filmmaker. And he's not a conspiracy person whatsoever at all. Not even a little bit. Maybe 9/11, he's normal. But, he's not like us with the critical thinking. So I'm like, perfect opportunity. Hey, buddy. Did you see the Charlie Kirk thing? Yep. I said, could that have been faked? He goes, what do you mean? I go, think Hollywood. Think blood bags. Think tubes. I forgot what it's called. He told me what it's called. He's like, are you talking about it's some word. I totally forgot. Some people will probably know listening to this. A squib? No.
Squibs for what they use for like bullet holes and stuff like that in people.
It's something like that, but he actually, and this woke him up. He's more addicted to this than me. I got better things to do, man. But he's addicted to this. I got him down this rabbit hole, and this is a normal guy, which is crazy. And because he knows how to do that. And he goes, this is exactly why it was only 8 seconds of blood. That's all you can fit in there. If you wanted to put a 1 minute worth of blood splurting out bag, he'd have a pot belly. He'd be like, what the hell are you wearing, man? So you have to keep it very subtle. And I think, again, for me, Charlie's only job at that point, which you can see him close his eyes before he even got shot. Are you bracing for something, bro? Are you ready for something? His shirt moved first, like there's air being pushed up. And there was something on his shirt. People are like, oh, that's his microphone magnet or whatever. Okay, granted, that's fine. Tell me when you watch it in slow-mo why that dot on his shirt goes directly to his neck. It's literally it's just a beeline to his neck, which is now the wound, which is now the hole. It moves here, blood comes out. And my buddy explained it in Hollywood, and there's something underneath, and it triggers it, and they even got the magnetic lacquer, whatever they put on their neck. And then, of course, you got conspiracy theorists all over the place zooming in on his neck saying, why is that side of his neck look different than that side of his neck? Something's on his neck. We don't know what it is. And it's kind of hard to investigate these things because how do you know? But this is why I asked a non-conspiratorial, theorizing person, hey, you've done this in real horror movies. Could this have been done that day? And he goes, dude, that's exactly what it looks like now. I'm losing my mind.
Sean, just let me ask this, because I liked Charlie Kirk. I didn't know the guy, wholesome guy, man of God,
I was
family
never
man.
I just never watched him. That's all.
Yeah.
Meaning, I don't want your
some
audience like, oh, he's a hater. No, I don't.
no, I don't think you're a hater. I think you're a
No.
genuine conspiracy theorist like us, and you ask questions, and rightly so. But why? What would be the reason why to do this? You know,
Where do you guys
because
live? Where do you guys live?
England.
UK. Yeah.
UK. All right.
Well, he lives on a little island. It's like the nipple.
Yeah.
I'm just making
Narnia.
sure. 'Cause I'm like, that's not really a question. If you were American, you would ask, because all that's going on right now is left versus right.
Yeah. Same here.
That's all that's going on. It's like we need to retaliate now. The right needs to retaliate to even fucking Elon Musk tweeted a day after the shooting, or maybe the day of. If we don't retaliate, they'll murder us all. What?
Yeah.
What?
That's inflammatory, isn't it?
Well, look, if the people, and again, specifically America, I know you guys got your own fucking problems, but specifically in America, if the people aren't fighting amongst each other, it's a problem. It's a big problem. And what they want, and this is my opinion now, but what they wanted to do to stir the left-right pot again so they can start killing more babies in the Middle East is they wanted to assassinate Trump. That was all fake. That's another day we can talk about that. That's the fakest. That might be even fake.
Well, my dad is convinced, so he's right with you there.
Right.
Like he says, son, you don't think that was real, do you? I'm like,
no, that was terrible. And I think they were trying to do a better job at it. It just didn't turn out that way. So for me, that didn't work, right? So they tried to let's assassinate, quote unquote, Trump. Let's just stage it and he'll do his thing like this, even though there should be blood all over his hand. I thought you were just grabbing your ear that was sniped, bruh. And then close your hand because there's no blood on it. Too late. We all saw that. And then you're doing fight. Okay, cool. A lot of people bought into it. A lot of people had that poster on their wall the next day. So those are the dumb Americans that just default to mainstream. You know, why would they lie about Trump? Why would he make that up? It's like, why? You got a few hours, but it didn't work. Nobody was fighting. Nobody was like, let's shoot the Democrat. Let's shoot Hillary. No, none of that was happening. And I thought that they thought that was going to work. It didn't work. It failed. Even Rogan roasted Trump when he was on there. Rogan's like, Jesus, your ear is completely healed. Like, what? I thought a sniper bullet.
Didn't he say he thought he said, oh yeah, I can see the nick. You know, I can see that.
That's Rogan being safe, in my opinion. But at the same time, he kind of outed him. But
yeah, a couple of weeks later on a different podcast with a different guest, he turned around and said, it seemed to heal really quickly. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, well, there's nothing there to look at. But the point I'm trying to make is I think that was their attempt to do what they're doing now to Americans, to have them fighting and retaliation and shootings and killings and everyone hating one another, because they need that. They need to brew the energy of hate and evil and everybody fighting one another. That's why they had another staged event, in my opinion, is the black guy stabbing the white girl on the train. That's fake as fuck. It's terrible. It's not even, I don't know how someone can see that and go, that's real. Well, it's not. But they're doing these things in America, these psyops, these false flags. They're lazy false flags when you put logic involved and take a look again and go, wait, oh yeah, that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. But I think with Charlie Kirk, with him, he's a part of their team, man. So it's one thing if like someone listening to your audience, they love Trump, they love Vance, sorry. They love Patel. They love the whole administration. They love Bobby Kennedy. That means they love Charlie Kirk. It makes sense. That's their team. This is their squad. I saw recently something that leaked a video, looked like a private video. It was, it's real. It is real. Even Grok said so. It was Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens sitting in a room. Looks like they were in a hotel or something. This is maybe a couple years ago. And Charlie's just going on and on about how great Netanyahu is. What a great man. What a great leader. And how much he loves Israel and what their mission is and everything. It looked like he was just sucking the teat over there. And Candace is kind of smiling and agreeing. I'm like, wait, I thought Candace was against them. These are all characters to me. These are all people.
Where can you find this video?
It's all over social media.
I've seen it.
I've not seen this.
And if you think about it, again, logic first, not emotion. If you think about it, these people are chosen by the same people that we all hate, right? The people that are running the world and ruining everything and letting all this chaos, letting the trafficking happen, letting the chemtrails happen, everything. It's these are the leaders of the world that are not good people. Okay. So even if there's Trump fans listening, sorry, you need to look more into the guy. There's a reason there's no Epstein list that's been leaked. But at the same time, if let's just say, I mean, this is completely hypothetical, but say Charlie Kirk was before anyone knew his name. Before, I don't even think that's his real name, but that's me. But before Charlie Kirk was even a thing, what if that was Eric Trump's best friend in school or something? Or what if that was like a childhood buddy and he wants to be a part of this team? Well, fuck the peasants. We're better than everyone. Hey, Charlie can be the guy, Dad. And Donald's like, oh, you think you can do it? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be anti-feminist. I'll tell me what you want me to do out there to be real. But then at the same time, he's going to be pro-Israel. So he's leading people to truth in one way, but then the other way, he's saying, no, Israel first, though, right? Israel. And then out of nowhere,
he was disagreeing in the end, though. In the end, he was saying, you know,
I was just going to say that in the last couple of weeks of his life, out of nowhere, he all of a sudden starts questioning Israel. That's something that they do. These are magicians, man, that are pulling the strings. They know that they want everyone fighting about conspiracies. They want everyone to have their own version of what happened. It was that guy that shot him. It was that guy. It was the sniper. It was her. It was him. Zoom in on there. That guy looks like he has something there. He shot him through his armpit or something. There's all these stories going around. And at the same time, now these stories are, well, it looks like Israel's behind it. And then you got this side going, what are you talking about? He was pro-Israel. No, look at this three interviews out of nowhere, the last month of his life that he was questioning Israel. So it's just putting more fuel to the fire where nobody can agree, especially with someone like me that's looking at it differently. I'm just one of 20 different versions of conspiracies that they have on this day when there should be none. There should be no conspiracies. It should just, the guy got shot and ambulance came, police tape. None of that happened. So there's always going to be question marks with events like this because it's a psyop.
I can't understand why there was no paramedics at an event like that. You know, you can't run like a small music festival without having like medical staff there and things like that. And that really stuck.
Like real policemen there, college campus. There's no police. What?
Hasn't the guy that originally the old guy that had the pants down? He's been arrested for something like kiddie stuff, hasn't he? Now
I think that's another thing they throw in there.
But wasn't he? I heard on Joe Rogan that he was on. He was at like a 9/11. He was involved
in a lot of crisis. Yeah. I think there was like
9/11 Boston bombing,
the Vegas shooting. I think as well, something like that. So again, they reuse these characters over and over again, and you know, and that's the other thing that when they first arrested this guy on the scene, he has no gun. Why would you arrest someone that just shot Charlie Kirk that has no ammunition on him, no guns, no sign of it? It's not like he dropped the gun. They would have saw it.
When did he take his pants off?
I don't know, man. It's such a psyop that there's so many angles to go on with it that you just can't chuck it up as legit. And when you just kind of throw all the conspiracies away of this Charlie Kirk event and go, okay, let me go back and start from square one, unlearn everything that's out there, and just look. Let me look again and see how realistic this thing is. It all falls apart. And again, it's as simple as the blood trail. Look, man, you're shot in the neck and it splurts out like that. Within 5 seconds, you got 6 guys grabbing him and hauling him. You'll never see blood again. It makes no sense. It's not logical. It's not real. So just that alone, I should be able to stop, but that's never enough for people. It's like, yeah, because the excuse they do is like with anything, with COVID, with the Challenger explosion, with anything. Why would they do that? And it's like, you got to look past the why, because us three can walk up to a murder scene, a crime investigation, right? Police, remember when they used to do that? Because they didn't do it for Kirk, but police line and tape everywhere and blocked off, but they send us three in to investigate. We have to investigate what took place. You know, the last thing we're going to say to one another during our investigation is, "But why would this have happened?" It's not our job. Our job's not to find a motive. That comes later. We'll figure that out later. We're trying to investigate a murder now. We can figure out the whys later, but for some reason in society, we're conditioned that as soon as you question a narrative, that, well, why would they do that? Man, fuck off with your whys. But now I look out and I see fighting, and rebelliousness and even podcasts. Oh, Steven Crowder, you know, we got to get them back. And there's all this hate right now. And that type of vibration is what they feed off of. They want everybody to have this evil hate and like, but if it's based off of something that's staged, again, I mean, I just look at it like it didn't work with Trump, and they're like, Charlie, you're next, dude. Like, well, we can up our game up a little bit with blood and all this stuff, and well, everyone's gonna see me, yeah, but we're gonna haul you off right away.
One thing I absolutely agree with is the anger it created. Because, I mean, we live in the UK. Both me and Lee, after that had happened, we said to each other, like, the next day, I don't know how to feel anymore. I was fucking fuming. Like, the emotions, my wife, like, as well, she was, I mean, she's watched some of Charlie Kirk's stuff, and she was like nearly in tears. She didn't even know the bloke, you know. But it's like that I absolutely agree. If there was a massive emotional response from the entire world.
Also, this is the first time, at least in my lifetime, unless you correct me if I'm wrong, that when I opened social media, any of my social medias, all I saw was blood coming out
everywhere.
That would be banned, blurred, censored, 24/7. They would take your channel down if you uploaded the bloody version. They're promoting it. It is advertisements of it. They wanted everyone to be traumatized by it because now your emotion will never, ever leave your side. There's no logic. They know what they're doing, man. This is dark magic.
Yeah, you'd have got away with it on X, you know, because that's X's stick. But the minute I saw it on like Facebook, which we know how heavy-handed with censorship Facebook is,
Instagram as well. But the same thing applies to the white woman being stabbed on the train. It was all over the place, blood everywhere. And I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on? And then I'm like, okay, if she's stabbed in the chest multiple times and blood's coming out of her chest, she's probably grabbing her chest. Again, when you think logically, you go, none of that happened.
Sean Kennedy. What about Kennedy?
She just kind of looks around like she's like, what just happened? And then she like goes like this for some reason. I don't know why she's doing this, and then she just falls over. And
what about Kennedy?
What, JFK?
Yeah.
What about it?
I mean, are you going to tell me, like, do you think he got his head blown off?
All I know about the Kennedy thing that makes no sense to me, the biggest red flag with Kennedy, I got to go in like 10 minutes, guys.
Yeah, we're going to the end anyway. I just wait to know.
No, for sure. I just had to say that. The one thing about Kennedy that stood out, which most people don't even know this, to be honest. I hope you guys don't know this. You learned something new. Is that when he got assassinated, the day of his assassination in real time, you know that nobody in the public saw that video for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one ever saw that. No one even saw any of it. They heard on the news JFK was assassinated, and that's it. Like, oh my God, JFK's gone. What happened? He got shot. Oh, no one saw it for 10 years. They had 10 years to figure out what they're going to show the public. So for me to believe that what they showed everybody was real, you got to be retarded at that point. I don't believe that was real. I don't know what happened. They could have just murdered him in his fucking bed and then told everybody he was assassinated. I have no idea. But at the same time, it was, for the time, it was realistic. I'm sure for the time, the Apollo missions were realistic. When you look now, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? We're walking on the moon. This looks terrible. But back
movie
then,
special effects, isn't it? Yeah. When you look at old, like really old sci-fi, like there would have been people sat in cinemas terrified of when you can see strings on things and stuff like that. But back then, it was real.
TVs were new.
Yeah.
It was the big thing. I mean, you're seeing something on the screen. It's like, this is magic. They didn't even understand. It's always been radio, and then they're seeing it. And this is how the CIA invented this and put it out there to the public, because they knew that this device, we could say anything and show them anything and they're going to buy it because they saw it on TV. It's like 9/11, the Challenger. It's universally, we all saw the same thing. So we all believe the narrative. And it's hard to shake that off when you're like, especially again, if it was September 12th, 2001, and I'm screaming Israel and I'm screaming controlled demolition and I'm screaming building 7 and I'm screaming all these things that we know are true now, I would have been probably thrown in jail because they would have been like, dude, you're weird. You're loony. You're anti-American. You are a disgrace to say that. How dare you say that about what happened yesterday? I mean, it would have been a shit show if I did that then. But just like with Charlie Kirk, give it time. Give it time. The truth will prevail. The truth always prevails. And I tell people, watch the eulogy. Take all your emotion out of Charlie's got murdered. And I still don't rule out that he died. I don't know. I don't think it happened right then and there. That looks all phony to me. I have no idea what happened. I'm not going to act like I know one way or the other. I just know that the entire event was staged, pre-planned, and it's a complete psyop. But if you take a look, you take your emotion out of it and just watch. Not the funeral. Actually, the funeral was probably even worse. It's a WWE spectacular show. Trump smiling, joking, Donald Trump making jokes. I'm sorry, Junior making jokes, his wife smiling. It's like, wait, I thought that like this is a funeral. I guess this is a fucking entertainment show with singers and performers. But when you watch, the eulogy is different, not the funeral. The eulogy. The next day, Charlie Kirk's wife goes up on live TV to read her script. Just watch that. Watch that. That's all I recommend. And that's your starting point, because I'm not a hypocrite. That was my starting point when I saw that. And again, I saw that with the eyes of this is real. So this is going to be sad, right? No, especially my wife. That's what I knew. I'm like, I got to look into this now. I was going to move on with my day. I mean, it sucks. Like in my head, I'm like, man, that sucks. They fucking got that guy. I don't know anything about him. I don't watch him, but that sucks. I'm human. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it with you, babe. Let's put it on. And like 5 minutes later, we're just like, what is going on? And right away, my brain's like, you got to go back and watch. You got to look into this now. You have to research this. And I didn't have time for it, but I'm like, I have to. And there's a guy on Instagram called Anthony Griffeo. My buddy, kind of a newer friend, social media friend in a sense, but he was more offended than probably your entire audience and you guys combined about what I'm saying. He was, fucking pissed. Because I'm like, dude, you can watch Charlie Kirk right before he got shot. He's holding a microphone. He has, perfect example. He has a ring on. Okay. And he puts the mic down and then he puts his hand back up and gets shot. This ring, when he puts the mic down and his hand comes up, this ring just appears to be on this ring instantly, on this finger instantly.
I know that's being explained away as being a class
they
trick.
tried to explain it where his ring kind of moves and he can just
but
move.
It doesn't make sense to me because that would involve two hands, and
just
swap
like
it around.
this.
It is odd, really odd.
In one frame his hand's here and then he moves, in his next frame the ring's there. So this is where the conspiracy of the this is all a hologram type of thing kind of started. And that big fucking weird, it didn't even look at camera. So I give him that. But that thing that's directly behind him, where if you were a very conspiratorial minded person, I get it. Meaning I'm not judging them the way I'm probably being judged. I'm not judging them, even though I don't think it's right. I don't think they're right. Doesn't make really sense to me. Doesn't mean they're wrong, but I don't buy it. But I still get what they mean, that they're applying this big ass fucking weird looking device that looks like it's worth millions of dollars. That's just right. Literally, if you draw a line from it to Charlie, makes sense. Okay, that could be projected. Sure. We can all admit, like, yeah, that would make sense. Doesn't mean I believe that story. I don't. But it still makes sense. Like, that's what it would be. That's the first thing they grab when he got hauled off. They're like, take this shit down now. So, but I just, I can't default to that. It's very hard to default to something that you cannot prove and all. But I can prove that there's fuckery in this. I can prove the Masonic rituals involved. I can prove that it's all over the place. Even the funeral had Masonic stuff all over the place and different words they would say. And then what's her name? His wife at the end, Donald Trump points up to her like this. And it's kind of like a signal, like, hey, you got to do the thing. And she's like, oh, yeah. Kind of like, oh, yeah, let me do it. And Fit is Flat Earther. There's this social media account that always attacks me because, like, I'll like scratch my eye and he's like, look, he's pointing to one eye.
He's lost his fucking mind.
He's an agent. No, we looked him up. He's an agent. He's now going after my buddy King Bao, and King Bao is coming back. Dude, you're about to be done. That's the wrong guy to attack. But anyways, I'm sure he'll clip this, but she, instead of, Trump points up and kind of gives her a nudge, and she just goes like this. I mean, all the way up to the sky. It's like, and then you got the naysayers are like, well, that means I love you in ASL language. I'm like, dude, this whole thing's Masonic. You can't default to that's I love you.
Again, that I find that weird, and I find it weird that there was no other like sign language stuff going on. Like, why that now?
Why that?
And, yeah.
And plus, if you want to actually break it down, you'd have to do you have to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
You have to do all of it. You can't just fucking zit all the way up to the sky and Trump smiling through it. Like, I mean, it's a shit show. It is a shit show. And it's sad to see good people, good critically minded, theory minded people that are falling for it. So this is what I just talked about today. I got like 2 minutes left, but I just talked about today. And I'm like, dude, we haven't even talked about Kirk. He goes, oh, all fake. I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm like, okay, thank you. I had no idea what you thought. And he goes, there's two different types of people right now. There's the innocent that believe the story because of emotion. And they're just being retarded right now. They'll get it. It might take a few weeks. They're going to get it. They're going to get on board with it. As hard as it might sound, as much as the family are going to be like, how can you say this? All right, then keep it to yourself for a while. But once you look at it, you're going to be like, oh, shit, this is super fake. There's that type of person that's just emotionally retarded at the moment, temporarily. And then you have the ones that are controlled, the Candaces, the Tucker Carlsons, the ones that know exactly what's going on. They're in the same camp, guys. They're all being paid by the same masters. You got to go and do your role. You got to go and do your shit. And I'll leave you with this, and I put this on my X account. Follow me at Sean Hibbler. What's his name? Kash Patel. His final goodbye to him, or whatever the case may be, the day he got shot, and he said something along the lines of like, it was very cryptic, but then
we have the watch now, my friend.
We have the watch.
I'll see you in Valhalla.
And I'll see you in Valhalla. And people kind of just like, don't really know what that means. He's a weird Muslim or something, and whatever, No. Valhalla is an island. It's right by Goat Island. You go straight down to Valhalla, which has always been kind of rumored in past times of where there's witness protection going on there and all this stuff. Like the public doesn't really have access to going over there. But it's beyond that. It's Tyler Robinson, the guy they said shot him, the sniper. There's photos of him posing. I don't know why he keeps changing his T-shirt. One in the same pose, he's in a white T-shirt. Then he's in a maroon one. Looks like the day of, where they're like, we got to take a couple pictures of you, man, before you do this, before we pawn this on you. But if you look at the monitor behind him, the computer monitor, guess what's on the computer monitor, the screen? The island of Valhalla.
Yeah. That's so random.
It's not, but it's not. Like, once you see it, it's not random. This is the revelation method at an all-time high right now, and some people are falling for it. And I'm here to help them out. I get how this event like this can be fucked up, man, and how it can emotionally drive you. And it's like, you don't want to be the one to question that. You're going to be completely ridiculed, completely like, dude, you've lost your shit. You might get divorced over this type of shit. I get it. I get that feeling, but I stand in truth, man. I don't really care about feelings. Like none of it seems real to me. And until something that makes it real, I mean, there's no coroner report. He's in a casket before they even did a coroner report. Like nothing logically makes sense, but yet it's all this one big movie where we're just supposed to be like, oh, well, it's real. No, it's we've been living in a movie for a long time, especially American media and politics, and it's not going to change. Or it's only going to be more and more and more. But I got to run, guys.
Yeah,
No worries.
Sean, you've blown my fucking mind, by the way. But yeah, Vimeo is the best place. Is that the best place for them to go rent the
Just
movie?
Go to climatetrails.com. It'll take you to Vimeo, because sometimes people go to Vimeo, they type it in, it's censored in all these countries. It might be hard to find. So if you go to climatetrails.com, watch the film, share it with especially your family that thinks those are contrails. So watch the film, support. The quicker I get support, the quicker I can make it free for the world.
Guys, go
Awesome.
give Sean some support. Fucking great movie. Sean, if you could just hang for like 30 seconds after the show just for the audio to upload, that'd be great, mate.
Sure.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Appreciate it, Sean.
Cheers.
See you later, everyone.
Thank you, mate.